That girl got so abused to the point. Now she thinks everybody's her ex. She got the man tied up. She's just reliving all the things he did to her. No matter what he says. See, he was so deep in her brain. And obviously, he caused her brain damage and stayed so deep in her brain that every time she looks at a man, all she sees is him. It don't matter what he's saying. And that's a bad thing. And then he left her like that. And that's the only where abuse can, physical abuse can actually pay off. I hate to say it because, you could definitely get them unstuck out of your brain, especially if, there's a saying that says the only way to get over a man is to get under another man. And I kept hearing that when I was younger. And by older women were saying it. And I understand now, I understood what they said then too, but I was never going to do that ever. But then once in my life, I understand now it's not always physical, it's mental. I always knew that, but not on my side of the fence. I always kept saying from the other side, from this side, saying to the other one, if you're still talking to exes and you're best friends with them, that's abusive. It's really abusive. It's not about who's more grown up. Really, it starts being abusive because then she's whispering stuff in his ear that you don't know. Parts of him you don't know about because she knew him longer. So basically that's abusive because then he's not giving your relationship with him a chance, just a pure first chance, like a whole chance. Not, somebody else is in her ear, somebody's in his ear, so nobody's getting a real chance at a real relationship that way. It's not about who's more grown up to handle it. That's stupid because that's like you're stealing from yourself. Even if you can actually accomplish that and just still be all the mates or friends and blah, blah, blah. It's not like what God intended. You're not getting a whole relationship. Let's just start there. That's like some trisexual stuff. You know what I mean? It's not, they say they get funny. Well, we don't have sex anymore. Or that has nothing to do with it. It's about, leave that commercial on. It's the copyrights and it's about AIDS. It's about that too. I don't care if it's 10 years later and it might touch, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, you know all the partners they've been with, they know all the partners you've been with, you was all friends, everybody was friends. That's not even safe, really. It's not safe. That's not safe. And then, for a fact that her partner went off and cheated with somebody else and then came back to her in between, because there's problems because you're still talking to each other, then you got another one in your head and another mate and everybody just what? No, that's just whatever it's called, God is in charge of that, but that's not, first of all, it's not safe. It's not safe. It's not safe. Even if you're not having sex, it's still not safe. It's not safe. Mentally, it's not safe. It's abusive. That just always turns out to be abusive with whoever you're with, at the moment. Because then you're making them accept that you and these other people are always, forever gonna always be whatever, but with the resolution of, but we don't have sex. That means nothing. You might as well, because you're screwing up the other person's sex life. Not because they're not mature enough, it's because they want a real relationship. A real one. Where there's no other ex-partners in the person's ear, stopping what would be natural between the two. Period. It's not, oh, well, we can still be involved, mentally with this one. It's not going to affect me and her or him and me. Yes, it is. Because then she going to come back talking to you all stupid because she been talking to him all freaking day. Or she might not talking stupid. I mean, she could be just different. She might stop cooking for you because he talking to her better than you did. She might not say nothing. She might not insult you or do you wrong or cheat on you. But, she might always still stay home. But she might not do all the things for you that she always did for you. Not even all the things that she still did for you while you were emotionally invested with what other females that you used to be involved with felt was in your ear. That you thought was not affecting anything. But it was on both sides. That was proven. If it wasn't proven, then the other mates, the exes, wouldn't be breaking up with their mates and coming back and forth because it's because of the emotional bonds that nobody was respecting that, when it's time to just cut it off. And that's all, folks. And nobody wanted to do that. And then, so the proof is in the pudding. Right? So whoever couldn't and didn't want chose not to conform to the free love just because we not having sex. But I'm gonna spend 12 hours with her and leave you here by yourself because it's all your fault because of whatever. That's the reason I have to go with her for 12 hours. We're not fucking, no. That's very abusive and horrifying and horrible. And only God can say that if anyone thinks that that's okay, or, well, it's too hot outside, she can't go because she has asthma. So, but that doesn't stop me and you from going over there for 12 hours. So what? That's her problem. Okay, well, then that's when people get their asthma pumps out. I've seen them do it, try to keep up because they wanted that person so bad. And those people are dead now for chasing the mate. Males and females, there's a whole bunch of them. There are more than 10 people, a whole bunch. Before I was 30, there were lots and lots of people dying for chasing their mates. They were older than me. I watched, in sense, of course, more. So you don't need him pulling up numbers. It's still happening. It's not my judgment saying I choose to be not part of that routine. That's why I'm alone, I suppose. Before I was alone because I refused to be part of it, and I had kids and I had been molested, and I wasn't going to let nobody sleep in my house. By the time anybody slept in my house, my kids were well grown, like teenagers, big, and like they could pop you on the head if you try to touch them. You know what I mean? You weren't going to sit around having no conversation with my kids anyway. I don't care just because I like you or not. That's who I was. So I've been lonely. Not lonely. Whatever, who wants to call it. Yeah, I've been lonely too. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I never felt no loneliness at 3 a.m. I'm not even going to be stupid like that and lie. That's why God put that light in me. There's no need to lie. But I got God. And the morning comes real fast. And God is always keeping my brain busy with all kinds of creations to keep me busy. And once in a while, I get a call from a celebrity friend. That really fills up my gap. And everybody has their flaws and their character defects as far as so-called communication. Depends on what life they're living, what's going on. But what does that have to do with purposely hurting people on purpose?